Why, hello there. Today's a wonderful fall day, brisk air out there. I got a pumpkin spice coffee in my hand, and we're coming up to one of my favorite holidays, Thanksgiving, and I'm the Blue Wizard. And today we're going to discuss...
Hey, wait. What are you doing, Dad? I'm the Blue Wizard.
You mean this is not about me?
No, it's not about you at all. This is my show.
But you got to admit I'm the original Blue Wizard.
Okay, all right, I'll give that to you. You are the original, the OG Blue Wizard. But this is still my show, after all.
Okay, this is your show, your kitchen, so I defer to you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, hey, guys, and I'm Joe the Blue Wizard, and this is my father, Frank, the
Hello.
Blue Wizard Senior. Well, kids, today on our channel, look at what I did there. All right, we are going to be righting a horrible wrong that has been perpetuated, whatever that word is. Perpetuated on my channel for a very long time. When I started this YouTube channel about 2.5 years ago, I was requested to do a turkey video. And guys, up until this point, it just hasn't worked out. And to be honest, I have never actually cooked a whole turkey by myself. But you know who has? This man, okay? He is the one who does our turkey every year for Thanksgiving, and he cooks the best turkey that I have ever had.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so guys, today we're gonna show you how to make the perfect Thanksgiving turkey on the Blue Wizard's Cook. All right, Dad, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your turkey recipe?
You know, normally we have somewhere between 25 to 40 people show up to our Thanksgiving. So we normally cook 2 turkeys. And this recipe, normally I cook in the oven, but you can also use electric roaster as well. So basically, the key of this turkey is we want to have a moist turkey. We also want golden brown skin at the top, so it's kind of like a showpiece as well.
And as I understand, getting both of those, very difficult to do.
Very difficult, and also because you also want the breast meat at 160 degrees, and you want the dark meat usually about 175 degrees. And usually when you're trying to get the dark meat to 175 degrees, the breast meat starts drying out. My technique is a little bit different. We're gonna actually start the turkey upside down, and then halfway through cooking, we're gonna flip it and then cook it right side up, so this way we get even cooking.
All right, well guys, I think it's time for us to stop talking about it and start making it. So let's make some magic.
Wait. I know this is your kitchen and this is your show, but can I do this?
Fine, I guess it's your recipe, go ahead.
All right, there we go.
Well, nice aprons, those are kind of a nice touch, I like that.
Well, you know, we're dealing with turkey and the juices, you don't want to get it all over our clothes, so.
Absolutely.
You know, so let's be a little bit neat about this. So,
smart move. So what's the first step?
So the first step we need to do is we need to separate the skin from the meat. This way, when it cooks, it actually browns the skin a little bit better, and we get that crisp brown skin that we love to eat. So
now this part I know how to do, so you want me to take this one?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let you stick your hands in there.
So I'm just gonna work my fingers in between the skin.
Now you have to be careful. You don't want to break the skin. You don't want to rip the skin. You're trying to do this as gently as possible. I've actually used the end of a spoon or a wooden spoon to get in there and work it out as well. This way it doesn't rip the skin. Now, if you happen to rip the skin, I do occasionally take, what do you call these, son? I forget what these calls.
I don't know, I look like pins to me.
Pins. Basically, they're normally used to tie turkeys up. And usually what I do is I use this to hold the skin if I accidentally do rip it. So we can also do that if we do have an accident here. But I have confidence in my son that he can do this without ripping the turkey.
Oh, thanks. Now, did you want the legs done as well?
Yes, legs, the back, everything. We have to flip the turkey over, do the legs. This way everything gets nice and brown. So the more skin that you loosen and it gets away from the skin, from the actual meat, then you get a better browning and a better crisping of the skin. One of the keys is you want to make sure that your turkey is fully defrosted before you cook it, so it doesn't take that long to cook. Normally, you should allow 1 day for every 4 pounds of turkey. So let's say this is, I believe this is a 12-pound turkey, son. So you would take this out if this is Thanksgiving, which is normally on a Thursday. You would take this out on Monday morning, and by Thursday, your turkey should be fully defrosted.
And you said that was a full day for every 4 pounds, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. The turkey has been de-skinned. Well, not de-skinned. It's still on. The skin's still on there, but at least the skin has been loosened away from the edge of the turkey.
Now,
I was going to say I was about to wash my hands, but
you can wash your hands, but we still got one more step to go.
Okay.
One of the things I like to do is put the salt in between the meat and the skin. So normally it's about 2 tablespoons, I think, total of salt, give or take. So basically, put salt in between the skin and the meat on both sides, and then maybe a little bit in the cavity as well. So since your hands are dirty, I'll let you do that part as well.
Here we go with the salt. In it goes. You just rub it around?
Just rub it around to get some salt in there. Now you can actually do a lot of this stuff prep even the day before, the night before, and if salt sits on the turkey, it actually gets it a little bit more moist.
I don't think my dad has ever prepped anything the night before.
No, I got too many other things going on at that time, so doesn't normally do that.
Ugh. Flip. Put some salt on the backside.
Yep. Now the last couple of years I actually have skipped this step in adding the salt. The only reason I've done that is to limit the amount of salt on the turkey, because unfortunately some of our family members have some health issues, so I've actually stopped that process, and the turkey still tastes pretty good, but if you still want to add the salt, you're more than welcome to do that.
So basically you can skip this step and it'll still do all right.
Yeah, the salting step.
The salting step, but you want to separate the skin.
Yes, you do.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, well, now that that's done, I'm going to take and
go wash
my
your hands.
hands.
So now the next step we're going to do is we're going to dry the turkey off. Also, there's some extra skin here that we're going to probably cut off just to make things a little bit easier. So we have all this extra skin in here, but more than we need. So I'm going to cut that right there. Now, also a lot of times I cut, I don't know if you want to call this the butt or whatever, I cut this off. But your mother seems to like that part, so I'm going to leave that in there. We're going to cook that in there today.
She loves the butt.
She loves the butt. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to take a paper towel and we're going to dry off this turkey as best as we can. Let's flip this. And get it as dry as we can so we can get that crisp skin that we're looking for. Now also key, this is the first step to dry it off. The other step that we're going to do to keep the turkey drier is we're going to actually put a mixture of salt and baking powder on the turkey skin, which will help it keep it dry.
Now baking powder, that sounds real weird.
Well, it actually works pretty well, and actually since my hands actually fill with turkey juice, why don't you go ahead and mix 3 teaspoons of kosher salt and also 3 teaspoons of baking powder together in a bowl.
Fun fact for you, in case you didn't know, 3 teaspoons actually equals 1 tablespoon. So I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon of each.
Okay.
Give that a stir, and here you go.
All right, we're going to actually start with the breast side up, because we're going to end up with the breast side down when we're done. So actually I'm going to start it this way. So we're going to take a little bit of this, put it on here, get it in as many places as we can. And again, if you need more, we can always put a little bit more of the salt and the baking powder in the bowl if we run short. But
absolutely,
that should be enough. So we rub it around. This helps to dry the skin.
Now this also, just to point out to everybody, this is also your recipe, right? You came up with this.
Well, it's a combination of a couple techniques that actually, if you want to say, I've taken from America's Test Kitchen. I've taken a couple different techniques and kind of combined them together. Is what I've done.
It's also a huge amount of experience.
Yeah. Well, it's what we've been doing this now for how many years? I think at least 10 years.
Yeah, a long time.
10 years.
Yeah.
Also, what you want to do is you want to take these skewers. That's what these are called.
Skewers. Oh, there you go.
Skewers. I just thought of it. And you want to go through the fat deposits that are in the skin and poke a few holes in the fat deposits.
So how do you know that you've seen a fat deposit?
Well, if you take a closer look, you'll take a look at the skin. It looks like these little wrinkles, and it's actually a little heavier. The skin looks a little heavier in those parts. Those are fat deposits.
Cool.
So we're gonna poke some holes there. Poke some holes on the side here as well. It helps the fat to drain out and kind of self-baste the turkey there. Also, can you cut me some string? We're gonna cut. Sure. We're gonna tie up the legs a little bit. So we just need to make a simple double knot here. Nothing fancy. This is just to keep the legs together, make things a little bit easier when you put it in the rack that keeps things together.
So you're literally just wrapping them together?
Just wrapping them together so it's not flopping around.
Yeah, because every time you watch like other people do these turkey recipes, you see people that are doing like these complicated weaves back and forth. You don't do any of that, huh?
Nah. I try to keep things a little bit simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So now let's put it back this way.
More drying.
More drying.
No skin left unturned.
Nope. We'll give the turkey its final rub down. You know, it's giving its life for us. So
before it gets cooked.
It's cooked. Now, the skin was a little up there. Now, a lot of times what I might do is might take the skewers here, and what I'll do is just kind of pin it so the skin stays in place.
Now, let's say that you didn't have these fancy skewer things. What would you use instead?
Well, to poke the holes and also do this, you could probably use toothpicks as well.
Okay.
So you can use toothpicks. So now that after we've prepared the turkey here, we've put the salt and baking powder mixture on here to keep the turkey dry. And now we actually have the breast side down. So now we got to put it into our baking pan or roaster. Now we've covered the V-rack, because we're using a V-rack so that heat can go underneath the turkey as well. We put foil, and part of it is so it doesn't stick there, but we also want to spray the foil with non-stick spray so it doesn't stick, because again, one of the tricks is to turn the turkey in the middle. So while he's doing that, I'm actually going to also put some vegetables at the bottom of the roasting pan. Now, the reason I do that is because I'm going to actually make a pan gravy also for the turkey. I like to use the drippings, and this the vegetables and the herbs that we're going to add season the pan drippings, and this way we can make a very flavorful turkey gravy. So we're basically now going to put the vegetables in the pan. Now, son, also I've asked Joe to also poke some holes into the foil, because we want actually the drippings to actually drip down into the pan. So that we can make the gravy. So we kind of did an alternate kind of pattern here. You want to do some holes. You don't want to make, you know, one big line, because then the foil is going to rip. Basically, use some onions. This is about I would say about three onions, yeah. Medium-sized onions. We're going to put that in the bottom here. And actually, that's a little bit more for this pan. So maybe for this pan, we're going to do maybe two medium onions.
Hey guys, he's trying to pare down his recipe, because normally he's making like a 24 pound turkey.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So this is actually a little bit smaller.
Yep.
So then we also have about 3 ribs of celery here. We're going to put that in the bottom here. And then we also have 3 carrots, 3 whole carrots. So we'll put that in the bottom as well. And then I kind of mix that all together a little bit. Then I put some herbs in it. I definitely put thyme in it, and I usually put in about I would say 2 to 4 sprigs of thyme for flavoring. Now occasionally I also put some sage, so we're going to put some fresh sage in there as well.
It's a very fall flavor.
Very fall flavor.
Now, one of the things you told me, Dad, when we were telling me about the recipe is that like these vegetables and the herbs and stuff, this is not actually going to do a lot for the turkey, right?
No, it has nothing to do with turkey. It has more for making of the gravy. So this is basically for the flavor, the drippings that we're going to get out of the turkey, and then I'll make a gravy out of that later.
So let's say you didn't want to be that extra, and you didn't want to make a gravy with your turkey. You could probably skip the vegetables in here.
You can probably do that, but also one of the things I found too is that because we're going to actually cook this on high heat, and I found that putting the vegetables on the bottom kind of stops it a little bit from burning.
From burning, yeah.
From burning, so the vegetables also do that. And also, which I shouldn't say because it's probably not healthy, but at the end here, you know, and especially my youngest son, he loves to eat the vegetables that have the drippings on it. It's very flavorful. Don't say I said that. It's probably not very healthy because it's got all the grease in it, but it's very tasty. Now, also one of the keys too is, again, because since we're using some high heat, you want to cover the vegetables with some water.
Oh, so, I forgot about that.
Yep, so we need some water.
Okay.
So also we want to be able to cover the vegetables with some water. All right, and normally we cover it just to cover the vegetables halfway.
Well, 2 cups actually worked out perfect.
Now also key, now we're going to actually check the temperature of the turkey as we cook, and I actually use a meat probe to do that. It makes things a little bit easier. But also, you can't just wait for the meat probe to finish. Every so often you got to make sure that you got to add some water to the bottom of the pan, because otherwise you might get some burning. If there's been a few years we've had a little bit of smoke in the house. So you also want to make sure that the vegetables stay covered with a little bit of water, so you want to keep checking that throughout the cooking process as well. So go ahead and put that on the bottom there, nestle that in there a little bit. All right, so now we're going to put the turkey in there. Now again, as I had mentioned, we're gonna do this where the turkey, the breast side is down. That's how we're going to start to cook it.
And that's supposed to keep it like juicy for the breast, right?
That keeps it juicy for the breast, because again, the dark meat needs to be at a higher temperature. So we're going to actually start cooking the dark meat, which is the back side here, first. So that's why we got it upside down. So we're going to actually start with a 325-degree oven.
Oh, I should probably set that.
Yeah, you probably should set that. 325-degree oven. You probably want to preheat that probably for at least 15-20 minutes before you put the turkey in there. Another key here, which is to help it a little bit brown and get a little bit more flavor, is I put some salted pork on the top of the turkey. This way it kind of self-bastes as well.
That's my favorite treat after the turkey is done, the salted pork.
Yeah, that's one thing too. You get very crispy, salty pork at the end. And again, as being the chefs of the day, you can eat that and don't have to share that with anyone. So I'm going to put this across the back, just like that. So in this case, we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of the salted pork across the back. Again, this will kind of baste it a little bit, the turkey. And so we're going to actually put the turkey in upside down, and then we're going to actually use a meat probe here. And we're going to put this in the thickest part of the breast. So, son, can you take care of that?
Sure.
Put that in there. And actually, I'm going to set my probe here to alarm once it gets to 130 degrees. So you want to put it in the thickest part.
Oh, I see, through the bottom. I got it.
Yep. So find the thickest part of the breast.
Go. Right here.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right. And then once we move it to, well, I'm not going to connect it now. Once we move it to the stove, we'll connect the base. That actually gives us the alarm that once it reaches 130 degrees. So again, we're starting this off the oven at 325. We're cooking it upside down, and we want the breast meat to get to about 130 degrees
before we flip. So this is not the whole, right? This is not the whole cooking of the turkey.
Yes.
And if you guys don't have this fancy meat thermometer thing, you can just use a regular meat thermometer. It's just you're going to have to open your oven a little bit more, which might increase your cooking time a little bit.
Yep.
But if you can afford a fancy gadget like my father has, where you've got this probe that can actually sit outside the oven, then it's a great tool to have for your Thanksgiving.
Again, I've purchased these various things over time. I didn't buy this all at one Thanksgiving. So one Thanksgiving I bought this. Next year I bought something else. And I keep adding to my arsenal of tools to make the cooking of Thanksgiving a little bit better. Because one of the keys, again, like I said, we have somewhere between 25 to 40 people show up. I am responsible for taking care of the turkey. I make the pan gravy. And I also make the buttermilk biscuits that maybe one day we'll have maybe a show on that as well. And then Joe and his mother take care of all the rest of the food for Thanksgiving. So it's kind of a team effort, but my main job is the turkey, the pan gravy, and the biscuits.
Look at him already advertising future episodes of the Blue Wizard Cooks. My goodness.
Isn't this my show? Oh, sorry.
Well, anyway, guys, we're going to get this all cleaned up while we wait for the oven to preheat, and then we'll get this sucker into the oven. So after the oven was preheated, Dad took the bird and put it onto the lowest rack of the preheated oven and plugged in his electric thermometer. We're going to be watching for that turkey to reach a temperature of 130 degrees, which could take up to 2 hours, but hopefully a little less since this is a little bit smaller of a bird. All right, guys, so it's been about, it was pretty much exactly an hour and a half, right?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half that it took for this 12-pound turkey to get to 130 degrees. Now, it's not done, all right?
Yep.
We still need to flip the turkey over.
Flip the bird.
Flip the bird, yes.
Flip the bird.
Exactly.
That's the only time we should flip the bird during
right.
Thanksgiving.
You shouldn't be doing that to anybody, especially not on Thanksgiving.
Not on family members, even though you'd like to.
So anyway, tell us what we have to do now.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the salt pork off.
My favorite.
Your favorite, so you can actually eat that. Either use clean kitchen towels, or I got these rubber gloves here that I like to use. All right, so we're going to flip the bird.
Here we go.
There
Perfect.
we go.
Not as even a bit of stickage.
Not even a bit of stickage. All right, so as you can see, this side is
Not attractive.
Not attractive, but hopefully with the high heat. Now we're going to put it back in the oven. We're setting the oven for 450 degrees, and I'm going to say it's probably going to take hopefully only another half hour, maybe 45 minutes to brown the turkey. The breast meat will then hopefully be at 160 degrees, and we're going to also check the thigh meat and stuff to be 175 degrees with an instant read thermometer, and then hopefully we'll have a beautiful turkey when all is said and done. So we'll see what happens.
So we'll see you back here in about 30 to 45 minutes.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, guys, so the turkey breast has just reached 160 degrees and it is coming out of the oven. Look at that beautiful brown
Look at that
skin.
beautiful brown.
Guys, it took about a little over 30 minutes, about 32 minutes to reach the right temperature. And I know that we've given you sort of like general times for a lot of these things. These are the timings that worked out for a 12-pound bird, but obviously your bird, depending on how big it is going to be a little bit different. So, and Dad, you said that you found that like the timings per pound don't really...
Yeah, I've tried over time trying to divide, you know, the poundage with the time, and it doesn't always work out 100%, you know, correctly.
So, but my advice would be like take a time that you would generally think that your turkey should be done, and probably start checking it at least a half hour before that. Yeah, to make sure that, check the temperatures and stuff to make sure you're getting where you're supposed to go.
Yep.
Generally speaking, if you're dealing with a 12-pound bird, it took us about an hour and a half for the first cook, about a half hour for the second cook, and you've said that when you're using a 20 to 24-pound bird, it could take anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours for the first cook, and about a half hour to 45 minutes for the second cook.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So
Well, anyway, kids, at this point, this turkey is done cooking, but it's not ready to eat yet. We do need to let it sit for a good 20 minutes to a half hour before we start carving into it to let the juices set. And normally we would tent meat with foil, but Dad says in order to keep that crispy skin, we want to make sure to leave this out in the open. So we'll see you again in about 20 to 30 minutes.
All right.
Okay, Dad, so the bird has rested.
Bird's rested.
And now it's time for
To
me
eat.
to take,
No,
no, not
we
to
gotta
me,
cut.
for
Oh, we
me
gotta
to
cut.
take over.
Okay.
Because it's time for me to show you how I carve a turkey. Now, of course, the turkey is beautiful just the way that it is. You could set it out and, you know, carve little bits off of it and stuff like that. Use your show turkey.
Yep.
All right, but I like to keep the turkey carved so that this way it's easier for people to grab, and you don't have to be waiting in line for, you know, the one person to be carving the turkey and stuff like that.
Well, again, I have two turkeys, so this is this turkey's in the middle, then this carved around it. Looks like a pretty presentation.
It does.
You know,
but who do you think carves the other turkey? This guy, okay?
Well, you got to do something.
Yeah, exactly. I got to earn my keep. All right, so the first thing we have to do is take out, we did put one pin in here. You might have used a toothpick. We're gonna just take that out, discard it. Well, not discard it, you're gonna save that for another year. Yeah, save that. All right, and I'm gonna take off the little string that we used to tie up the legs of the bird. So the first thing I'm going to take off are the legs, okay? So the way that you do this is you want to take your knife and sort of go at the where the leg is meeting the breast and make a little cut in the skin. And as you do that, you can see that the leg is actually already separated from the rest of the bird. So you just have to really work your knife in there, separate the skin. As you pull, you'll hear a little pop that tells you that the leg came out of its joint, and you just need to cut through to the other side. And there you go. All right, you've got a leg and a drumstick, all right, that have come off, or a thigh and a drumstick.
Thigh and a drumstick.
Thigh and a drumstick, okay?
And you notice that the juices are still flowing?
Juices are flowing.
It's a juicy turkey.
It is indeed, okay? So I'm gonna take and pull out the leg a little bit just to expose where the leg and the thigh meet each other. And I'm gonna start cutting through to the other side. Now the drumsticks, we like to leave. Eventually we'll pull the meat off of that, but it makes it look pretty, so we're gonna leave it there.
Well, I know some people that like to eat it just like that.
There you go. In fact, you can get that at like state fairs and
State
stuff,
fairs,
right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Probably larger than that.
Probably larger than that.
And deep fried.
And deep fried. Now, we can also leave the thigh like this if we wanted to, but we don't do that on Thanksgiving. We pull out the bone. So all we have to do is pull out the bone that's inside of there. And you can always, of course, pull off the individual pieces of meat that are stuck to it, and the turkey is still hot, so it's a good thing I have asbestos hands. All right, and so I'm just gonna carve up little bits of this, this thigh meat so that people can grab. There you go. So that's one thigh done. I'm gonna go and do the other thigh. All right, so now that we've done the thighs and the leg meat, we're going to remove the wings. All right, these are generally easy. You just gotta sort of pull them away. And then once you expose, again, the joint, then you start cutting. And again, if you really want to, you can sit and pull all of the meat off of these wings, but they also look very pretty sitting on the table. All right, wing number 1 is done. All right, and wing number 2. All right, so last but certainly not least, my favorite part of the bird, of course, is the white meat.
So is it mine.
So yeah,
That's what I'm waiting for.
There you go.
But I'm gonna have a piece of skin while you do it.
Oh, there you go. So I'm just gonna take and put my knife down the center where the breastbone is, just to sort of expose that bone a little bit. And then I'm gonna start just sort of cutting onto one side of the bone. And you wanna follow the bone with your knife all the way down. Try not to burn yourself along the way until you ultimately pop off the breast. There it is.
And I don't know if you can see from the camera angle, but the breast is definitely juicy.
Absolutely.
Not dried out. So,
in fact, I can cut a little piece off right here.
yeah, there you go. Thank you, sir. Juicy and tender.
Talk about juice.
Yep. Perfect.
Wow. Because that's one of the major complaints that people have about turkey is it's dry. Now this turkey. To cut the breast, what I'll do is just make it into slices rather than cutting it if you want to say, the traditional way. So I'm just going to use the sawing motion, cut it into those nice thick slices that people will grab. Beautiful. And then I'll just take it in one big piece, set it on our platter.
Beautiful.
Lovely. So now we just do it with breast number 2. All right, now you can see, obviously, there's still plenty of meat left on this carcass, and you could just keep sitting and picking away at it, all right, until you get it completely clean.
Your mother be sitting here picking at it right now.
Exactly, but Mom, she is really big on picking at the carcass. That's her favorite part. She says the meat that is closest to the bone is the best, which is the truth. All right, so she would probably sit for, a good hour picking all of the meat off of this carcass. And you could also save the carcass and use it to make soup and turkey stock and stuff later on for, after Thanksgiving. But we did get most of the meat off of the bones. And there's one more spot that you want to go. They call it the oyster. That's on the back side of the turkey. And there's like a little pocket of meat that's supposed to be the most tender. And it's supposed to be for like the chef's treat. It's right there at the bottom.
Delicious.
Fantastic.
Perfectly salted.
Excellent. Well, how do you think we did, Dad?
I think it came out fantastic.
Absolutely. There you have it, kids. Our beautifully cooked Thanksgiving turkey all ready to go. It is fantastic, delicious, juicy, crispy skin, juicy meat, all the way through. Fantastic. I want to thank you, Dad, for showing me how to do all of this, because you are the turkey master.
Thank you.
All right, and so now if anyone has any questions, they can of course leave them down in the comments down below, and either myself or my father would be happy to answer those questions for you.
No problem.
Also, don't forget that if you want this recipe, you can get it from the link in the description below this video, or just head straight to bluewizardfood.com. In addition, kids, if you want to catch up with me on all of my adventures outside of making cooking videos, don't forget to follow me on both Instagram and Facebook at Joe the Blue Wiz. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, as well as hitting the subscribe button and the little bell for notifications, so this way you're notified every time that I post a new video. Well, kids, that's all that we have time for here today on the Blue Wizard Cooks.
And like my son Joe likes to say, you don't have to be a professional chef or a wizard to make magic happen in the kitchen. Everybody, have a fantastic Thanksgiving with your family.
Bye now.
Bye.